right, so much happened over the weekend. Let me see if I can get through it. First, you may not notice this, but Mistral has launched again. Now, Mistral was out with models earlier. They were a French AI model maker. They are back with a consumer app, and it is blazing fast. Like, I played with it. It's free to play with. You don't even need an account. The thing is like eye blank fast. Apparently, it runs on Swiss silicon. They're building some sort of French data center to house it. They're clearly trying to make the case that European model makers are not done. So we will see. When I played with it, it felt to me like about a 4-class model, GPT-4o. And it felt really fast. It's the fastest model I've played with. So if you're looking for blazing speed, try Mistral. Next, ChatGPT became the 6th most visited website in the world, and that's before their Super Bowl ad. And if you wonder, how much of the internet's traffic is number 6 worth? And previously I'd heard they were at number 8. How much is number 6 worth? It's 2.3%. 2.3% of the internet's traffic for number 6. Well, what's number 1? Oh, it's Google.com. 29.2% or so. So more the reward for being number 1 is more than 10 times number 6. That's how big a deal it is. And as Sam put it himself in a little tweet, we have a long way to go to run down Google. So he's coming for Google. This brings me to the Super Bowl ad that ChatGPT ran. There were a number of other AI ads. Gemini, I thought, speaking of Google, did a great job explaining how AI can actually help. They've had, I guess, a year or so to think about it, and I thought the ads that they showed actually showed people using AI in ways that made sense. So that was helpful. But ChatGPT did not. They actually made, and I can't believe they did this. It was a branding play. I suspected it would be a branding play. But they made the symbol of waiting on their app the center of their brand, which I thought was a very curious choice for an ad to the general public. Like, how ChatGPT does the little 3 dots and dances? Like, that was the heart of the ad. It was a dot that kind of exploded into patterns and visuals and became a sailing ship and then a rocket and then ChatGPT. And this was on the same weekend that Mistral dropped an incredibly fast model with no waiting. And I'm not a branding guy. Maybe they're right. Maybe it was the right call because everyone knows the dots. Maybe the dot will stick around because it's the same dot for voice mode, right? I'm not sure. But it felt like an odd choice to me, especially not to use Sora. Like, there was no Sora at all involved in any of that. Next, a little bit of trivia, or maybe you didn't know this. Google used to own AI.com, but DeepSeek definitely now owns it. It redirects to DeepSeek.com. So either Google's playing games or DeepSeek owns AI.com, which I think is interesting. Finally, Sam spent the Super Bowl, or the morning of the Super Bowl, writing a blog post with what I would describe as Sam's 3 laws of artificial intelligence, not to be confused with Asimov's 3 laws, not to be confused with Moore's law governing compute. Sam's laws are about intelligence. And Sam first talks about the cost of intelligence. He says the cost of a given level of artificial intelligence declines roughly 10x every year. This is in line with observed values. It's part of why it's not that surprising that DeepSeek claimed a relatively affordable training cost, even though that was not fully loaded. But what that means, if you think about it, if it goes down 10x every 12 months, in 3 years, it's 1,000 times less than what it was originally. Like, it just goes to zero so fast. Well, you wonder, is there value? And Sam's 3rd law, not the second, suggests Sam basically says there's super-exponential value in intelligence. And he just sort of asserts that. I think right now, everyone who's putting money on the table would agree with him. But that value statement is why he can afford to spend so much and why he believes staying only a few months ahead of folks like DeepSeek is enough. And that brings me to the 2nd law. So we did the 1st law, which is declining cost. We did the 3rd law, which is, wow, this is really valuable. And then we did the 2nd law. 2nd law is that essentially says that intelligence is the log of resources invested. And so, as just to like make the logarithmic relationship very blunt, if you put 10x the resources in, you get 2x the intelligence. And this is why Jensen Huang sleeps well at night. You have to invest an immense amount more in chips and data centers and training and inference in order to get more intelligence out. You just do. And Sam says that's something that holds true across a wide range of scales. I have observed so far that is true, and I'm sure he's right about it. And if that's true, it means that they are going to keep investing enormous amounts in scaling up intelligence. So there you go. Those are Sam's 3 laws. That's what happened over the weekend. So much happened. Mistral is back. If you were an Eagles fan, you had a great weekend, and you're probably not watching this at all. Either way, I hope you have a great week. Cheers.